Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thanks for joining me. We're on a two-part segment here. I've got Brad Helmke from, let's see, I got to look at that again, Brad, because we got Becker, Schott, Helmke, DeConcini, and Johnson. And like you talked about last week, Brad, you're just Brad Helmke at the Vergas State Bank on Wednesdays.
It's just me here on Wednesdays, and I usually come right away from my house in the morning. I live about halfway from Vergas and halfway from Perm and halfway from everything.
So we can call you a Vergas guy.
Oh yeah, I'm still a Vergas guy. Yep.
You're a Vergas guy, and like Brad said last week, 30 years will be going on, and so he's been coming over to the Vergas State Bank. Can you call and make an appointment with you here in Vergas?
Oh, it's a little different than what I have going on in my main office in Perm, but most of the people that come in can just stop by. They're mostly just stop-bys. They don't usually call. They just run over. But I have a really nice situation where your staff, your office, the bank answers
the
Vergas Bank answers my phone, and they'll take messages for me. I have voicemail, so they can transfer them down to my voicemail, and
so they're easy.
They're my receptionist, and so it really is really nice that they do that for me, and they kind of know what I go through. They'll call and say, "Well, do you have somebody with you?" And so it's really nice.
Well, after 30 years, we should have figured it out, right?
You definitely have it figured out.
Yeah, so it's working out good. Last week, Brad, we talked a little bit about the Affordable Care Plan that's going into effect, or went into effect in 2014, and how that's going to affect the people coming in to do their taxes. You want to just kind of summarize that for me?
Well, last week we talked about all the little things and stuff. It's almost too complex to get into, but I just want to make sure that people understand that they just need to be prepared, know what your insurance is, know what your kids are doing, know where they're covered, because that's important. Don't file their tax returns before you have a chance to visit with us, because you might decide, well, that wasn't the right thing to do. So
and then you got the expense of an amended return.
Yeah, it's just a lot easier if you would do, especially if the kids are in college and stuff. It's important with there's still the education credits out there, and some people get a little anxious and want to file their kids' return because they maybe have $300-400 coming back, and they know their son or daughter needs that money, and so it's important for you to wait, or at least ask the right questions, or ask some questions about which way is more favorable, because if it works better for you to claim your child one more year, that's something that we can add, because it's not just even the education credit. The earned income credit comes into play. If your income is it doesn't even have to be low. It could be, in the medium range, and you still might be eligible for some of those credits.
Okay, what are some of the new changes that people are going to see this year besides of affordable health care?
Most things remain unchanged.
That was a big enough one, right?
Yeah, that's a big enough one, but it's for the taxpayers that I deal with mostly, those issues remain the same year in, year out, and so the depreciation rules, the deductions, things like that don't change a lot, and so I don't really see a lot of things that you do differently there, and people just kind of know what they need to do. The government has extender laws where they pass certain things, depreciation, something with their IRAs and stuff like that, and so energy credits and whatnot. But all those things seem to get extended year to year, but it's last second. The House and the Congress has to pass those extenders, and they do, but we just kind of wait, not knowing. I think that you've seen in the ads in the paper where somebody says, hey, last minute you can buy a piece of equipment and now you can write it off 100%.
Right.
Well, everybody then is dashing to get that advice and find out if that makes sense for them and stuff.
Right. Okay, so Brad, if you had your ideal customer that would come in, or your client, and what would they all have ready for you?
Oh,
think about that ideal client. Don't think about me when I come in with my stuff.
Yeah. Most people, most people have their W-2s, their 1099s, their investment statements, things like that. They're all. We don't need people to write that information down because it's all right there. It's all form driven, and so that part of the tax preparation is not rocket scientist work. You basically get the W-2s, you enter the information. The people that have businesses, that have rentals, that have things like that, we don't need to see the receipts. If we had to see the receipts for every client, it would double, triple, quadruple the fee, for doing your tax return. And so basically, you just need to summarize your information and say, okay, this is my repairs, this is my supplies, and it just has to be a total. And so those people, knowing what their income is, and 99% of the people are cash basis taxpayers. The money that you receive is your income, the money that you pay out is an expense. And so it's important for you to just have that summarized and say, okay, here's my expenses, here's my income. We don't need to see the details.
Right.
It's that ideal client is prepared that way, and it just makes it easier. There's other things that I like to talk about, with retirement plans. Maybe doing something different with your debt and having a way to be able to deduct your debt so that it's not personal. If you got a boat loan and you got some room on your home equity line to take care of it, where you can make it tax deductible. Those are some of the things that I like to talk about with people.
And when you build up that client relationship, you understand that, and you can visit with them throughout the year. I mean, obviously. Yeah. Now it's a little, you can't really be doing a lot from 2014. So 2015 during the year is probably when it's good to be talking to you about, gee, should I be doing that, Brad?
Yeah, you like to plan, so that they're paying the least amount of tax that they need to pay, but there again, you don't want somebody to have zero income one year and then a lot of income the next year. So you try to make sure that they understand that it's okay to pay a little tax along the way, because you don't want to see that roller coaster with your income and one year be high and the next year be really low. So you can save yourself a lot of tax by trying to even that out a little bit and stuff. So it's important for you to plan in that regard and look down the road and say, what am I going to do for retirement? Am I going to rely just solely on Social Security, or am I going to have a pension plan, a Roth, or something like that? And so people have to really work at trying to get themselves to save, and sometimes it's easier to say, okay, save a little bit each month, and then it'll just build up for you.
Right. Now, and then building that client relationship makes me think of, it's easy to go online.
There's a lot of information out there. We have a website out there for our customers and for anybody that wants to look, www.lakescpa.com, and that has our firm there, but it also has information there that people can use to find out information on what the tax rates are, what deductions are going and stuff, and so it's
they've
nice
got
website.
Some of that information, and then they can come with knowledgeable and when I think online too, some people file online, they don't get those little extras.
We have an online that where TurboTax was kind of dominating that. We actually have with the program that we use, people can go online on our website and actually file their own return. And it's a modest charge. I think it's cheaper than TurboTax, but it then allows, if they have questions, they can just ask us and say, what do I need to do?
All right. Well, Brad, 30 years of experience, or anyway here in Vergas, it's been more than that. I can see, it's just all comes to the table.
It's been a nice ride. I really have loved coming here, and I plan on being here for a few more years.
I would hope so.
I think the retirement thing is still in the future yet, but
you haven't saved for it, maybe.
No, I haven't. Yeah, so that's right.
You should talk to your tax advisor about that.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, thanks, Brad, for joining us.
Thank you.
Go get your taxes done. You can stop at Brad's on Wednesday mornings here at the Vergas State Bank.
Thanks.
All right. You have a good day in Vergas.